Okay, looks like we are online streaming. Okay, we'll have a little kirtan first. This evening's class will only have, or the morning for those of you in Australia, it's only going to be 45 minutes because I have an evening program, which hopefully will broadcast later. We chant the prayers to Lord Nrsimha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Haribol, 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 Jai Gaur, Haribol, 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahansa Paramahansa, all Stitera Sitashi, Shimad, His Divine Grace, Abhaya Chaitanya Bhagavat Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrind Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Ko Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha, Srivasa Thakura Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Kapanath, Saya Mukunda, Radhakunda, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Mathuram Ki Jai, Jagadasami Ki Jai, Munamaya Ki Jai, Srimad Tulasidevi Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Om. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvadi Pacharni, Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deja Tarni. All glories to Lord Nrsingadev, Prabhupada Nrsingham. So, we're going to have a shorter session tonight, or in the morning, depending on where you are, because I have a program a little later. I'm in Orlando, Florida, and I am not going to Disneyland, Disney World. Okay, so now we'll continue with our study of the Caitanya Bhagavat. And we're about to read about Lord Chaitanya manifestations of ecstatic love in the house of Srivasa Pandit. Of course, yesterday we read about Lord Chaitanya's ecstatic manifestations. They were not really understood by a lot of people, specifically by his mother. And so many people advised his mother to tie him up, tie his legs, keep him at home, give him a bath with ghee or Ganges water, and keep doing that until he became sane. So, therefore, Srivasa Thakura came over and said, he's not really insane. He said, this type of insanity I would like to have, and this insanity is pure love of God. So, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exhibiting the highest stage of Mahabhav, Adiruddha Mahabhav, which is basically an extreme expression of what's called a Vyabhichari Bhav, or Sanchari Bhav, which means an intermittent, uncontrolled ecstasy that moves throughout the body, and you never know when it's coming. That's what intermittent means. So, we'll continue reading from the Caitanya Bhagavat, and we're going to only go to 45 minutes after the hour, and then we're going to have to end, unfortunately. Okay, so Om Gana Timidandasha Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmeritam Yena Tasmai Shikarve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, here we go. Let's share the screen. And here is the screen. So, reading from the second chapter in Majja Kanda. Let me get this window set up. Second chapter in the Majja Kanda of the Caitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Okay. So here Srivasa Pandit is appreciating the devotional symptoms of ecstasy that are being exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, we'll start here. Srivasa Pandit said, the symptoms of devotional service that you display are desired by personalities such as Brahma, Shiva, and Sanaka. We will gather together and chant the names of Krishna. Let the sinful atheists say whatever they want. In other words, who cares? Srivasa then said to Sachi, give up all your anxieties. I can tell you this is not insanity. It is devotion to Krishna. No one else can understand this fact. If you wish to see many more of Krishna's mysteries, then do not tell ordinary people about this. After speaking in this way, Srivasa Pandit returned home, and Sachi was relieved of thoughts that her son was affected by madness. This is a very interesting thing that you keep hearing go over and over and over again, that Lord Chaitanya reveals something, or one of his devotees reveals something, and generally, don't tell anyone about this. Why is that? Well, for several different reasons. Of course, we have that offense on chanting, not to preach the glories of the Lord, or the intimate pastimes of the Lord, or anything that people are not going to be able to understand, to those who are not able to appreciate it. And why is that? Because if we explain things, reveal things, manifest things to those who are not properly situated, several different things can happen. One is that people will criticize and commit great offenses, considering this is all mundane. Another one is that people get bewildered, confused, and just go away. Another danger is that people will hear about these things and they will imitate them. And when they imitate them, that's called sahaja. And that creates a disturbance in devotional service. That's described Shruti Smriti Puranardi, Pantrakaye Vidhim Vina, Aikantaki Harir Bhaktir, Upataka Yaiva Kalpate. That one who does something that is not in accordance with Shruti or Smriti, that is the Vedic literature's instructions, or one's level of devotional service, then that particular activity, if it's done in the name of Krishna consciousness, creates a disturbance in society. Mother Sachi, however, continued to feel anxiety out of fear that her son would leave home. Well, that's a bona fide fear, because he did. And the reason she's fearful is because that's called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because her other son, Vishwarup, once he really got involved in Krishna consciousness, he was gone. He took sannyas. So she's seen a flashback here. Look what happened. This is Krishna consciousness. I'm going to lose my son. And sometimes people feel like this. that if someone takes up to Krishna consciousness, their child will be lost to them. But if they support their child in Krishna consciousness, the child will not be lost. And very rare for a child to take sannyas. Not generally recommended. In many cases, the child will get married and have a nice family, and the parents or grandparents will feel even more overjoyed than if their children or grandchildren had become abject materialists. In this way, Lord Vishvambara resided in Navadvip. Who can know him unless he reveals himself? One day the Lord happily went with Gadadhar to see Advaita. When they arrived, the two Prabhus saw Advaita Acharya sitting and worshipping the Lord with Ganges water and tulasi leaves. Advaita raised his two arms and loudly chanted, Huri, Huri. He completely forgot himself as he laughed one moment and cried the next. He roared like an intoxicated lion. His wrath was so intense, it appeared that the great Rudra had advented. As soon as Lord Vishvambara saw Advaita, he fell unconscious on the ground. By dint of his devotion, the mighty Advaita could recognize, here is the Lord of my life. He thought, oh, my thief, where will you go today? You have been wandering about all these days, hiding just like a thief. Your thievery will not work with Advaita. Rather, I will steal from this thief right now. Understanding that it was the proper opportunity for stealing, Advaita came down from his seat with articles for worship. Thereafter, Advaita Acharya began to worship the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya by offering Paja Argya, Achamaniya, sandalwood paste, flowers, incense, and lamp. He then offered his obeisances while reciting the following verse. In the Vishnu Purana, Prahlad Maharaj prayed, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Krishna, who is the worshipable deity for all Brahminical men, who is the well-wisher of the cows, famous verse, of course, and Brahmanas, and who's always befitting the whole world. I offer my repeated obeisances to the personality of Godhead known as Krishna and Govinda. So that verse comes, interesting, from the Vishnu Purana. Never knew that before. So Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanataya Jagadataya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. From Vishnu Purana. Fantastic. So now we know the source of it. So Advaita fell at the Lord's feet as he repeatedly recited this verse. Recognizing his Lord, he cried profusely. He washed the Lord's two lotus feet with his tears and stood by the Lord's feet with folded hands. Gadadhar smiled, bit his tongue in surprise, and said, O Goswami, it is not proper to behave like this towards a boy. On hearing Gadadhar's words, Advaita smiled and said, Gadadhar, you will recognize who this boy is someday. Gadadhar was struck with wonder and thought, perhaps the Supreme Lord has appeared. After a while, Vishvambara regained his external consciousness and saw that Advaita Acharya was absorbed in ecstasy. Lord Vishvambara then tried to hide himself by offering prayers to Advaita with folded hands. The Lord offered his obeisances to Advaita and took the dust from Advaita's holy lotus feet. Thus he surrendered his body to Advaita. O Mahashya, please be merciful to me. Know for certain that I belong to you. My life has become successful by seeing you. Only by your mercy will I be able to chant the name of Krishna. You alone are capable of destroying my material bondage, for Krishna is always manifest in your heart. The Lord knows well how to increase the glories of his devotees. He treats his devotees as they treat him. Advaita thought, you think you're very clever, but I've stolen from the thief. Thereafter Advaita Prabhu smiled and said, O Vishvambara, to me you are greater than all. I wish to live here and discuss topics of Krishna with you so that I can constantly see you. It is the desire of all Vaishnavas to see you and chant the holy names of Krishna with you. The Lord happily accepted Advaita's words and then returned home. Advaita knew that the Lord had revealed himself, yet to test him, he went to Shantipura. If he is actually the Lord and I'm actually his servant, then he will bind me and bring me to his side. So Advaita's ancestral house, of course, in Shantipur, he also has a house in Navadvip, Nadia, which is basically really close to where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, which is called the Yoga Pit, and right next to Srivasa Thakura's house. But generally, he was in Shantipur. Who has the ability to understand the heart of Advaita, by whose influence Lord Chaitanya incarnated? Know for certain that one who does not have faith in these topics will soon fall down. In this way, Mahaprabhu Vishwambara daily engaged in congregational chanting of the holy names in the company of the Vaishnavas. Everyone was greatly pleased to see Vishwambara, but they could not recognize him as their worshipful Lord. His state of supreme spiritual absorption distinguished him from others, and on seeing this, everyone became suspicious. Who can describe the Lord's blissful absorption other than Lord Shesha? When his body began to shiver, even 100 people were not able to hold him steady, and when tears flowed from his eyes, it appeared as if hundreds of rivers were flowing. When the hairs of his body stood on end, his body looked like a golden jackfruit. Again and again he would laugh loudly with great jubilation. Sometimes in ecstasy he lost consciousness for 3 hours, and on regaining consciousness he would not speak about anything other than Krishna. The ears of people were pierced by his loud roar, but by his grace the devotees were delivered. Sometimes his entire body assumed the stationary form of a pillar, and sometimes the same body became as soft as butter. When the devotees saw these wonderful sights, they no longer considered him an ordinary human being. Someone said, "This person is a partial incarnation of the Supreme Lord." Someone else said, "Lord Krishna sports in his body." Someone said, "He may be Shukadeva Goswami, Prahlad, or Narada." Another said, "It appears that all our troubles will be vanquished." All the wives of the devotees said, "It appears that Krishna has personally appeared." Someone said, "Perhaps he is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord." In this way, they all considered the Lord in their own way. I am unable to describe how the Lord held the devotees by the neck and began to cry when he regained external consciousness. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Friend of the helpless, you are the only ocean of mercy. Because I have not met you, my inauspicious days and nights have become unbearable. I do not know how I shall pass the time. Well, of course, as mentioned before, Vrindavan Thakur never personally met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Where will I find Krishna who plays on his flute? Speaking in this way, he sighed deeply and wept. When he became calm, the Lord said to his intimate devotees, "Now I will relate topics of my distress to you." The Lord said, "There's no end to my distress, because after achieving Kanai, the Lord of my life, I then lost him." Kanu, means the phrase Jivana Kanai refers to Kanu, who is one's very life. Everyone was satisfied to hear the Lord's confidential talks, so they all respectfully sat around him. While returning from Gaya, I came to the village named Kanai Natashala. I saw a beautiful boy, blackish like a tamal tree. His enchanting curly hair was decorated with fresh gunja. Those are the gunja berries, like the red and the white berries that we decorate our Govardhan Shilas with. His head was decorated with a colorful peacock feather, and the jewels on his body were so bright that I could not see him properly. He held an enchanting flute in his hand, and his lotus feet were adorned with attractive ankle bells. His arms were decorated with jeweled ornaments and defeated the beauty of blue columns. His chest was adorned with a mark of Shiva, the Kaustuba gem, and jeweled necklaces. How can I describe the manner in which he wore his yellow garments? His shark-shaped earrings increased the beauty of his lotus eyes. He smiled as he approached me, and after embracing me, he ran away. Who can understand the mood in which Gaura Sundara speaks except one who is favored by him? While speaking in this way, Vishwambar lost consciousness and fell to the ground, exclaiming, "Oh, Krishna!" The devotees quickly picked him up as they all chanted, "Krishna, Krishna." They pacified him and brushed the dust from his body. Although the Lord was pacified, he could not remain quiet. He continuously cried, saying, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" After a while, Sri Gaurasundar became calm and exhibited extreme natural humility. Everyone present became greatly satisfied on hearing the Lord's explanation of his devotional sentiments. They said, "We are indeed blessed because you have made us most fortunate with your association. For one who associates with you, what is the value of Vaikuntha? A single moment with you yields the fruit of devotion. We are all dependent on you. May you lead us in kirtan. Our bodies are burning from the fiery words of the atheists. Please relieve us with the cool waters of your love." Thereafter, the Lord happily solaced everyone and returned to his house like a maddened lion. Although he returned home, he did not enjoy household pleasures. Rather, he constantly enjoyed transcendental bliss. The tears of love that flowed from his eyes were such that it appeared that the Ganges, which flows from his feet, was now flowing from his eyes. The only words the Lord spoke were, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" Even on inquiry, there was no other reply. When the Lord saw any devotee, he asked, "Where is Krishna?" As speaking in this way, the Lord would cry profusely, and various persons would solace him according to their ability. One day, Gadadhar happily came before the Lord with some betel nuts in his hand. On seeing Gadadhara, the Lord asked, "Where is that blackish Krishna who is dressed in yellow cloth?" All the devotees there felt as if their hearts were pierced on seeing the Lord's intense longing. Everyone was perplexed about how to reply. Gadadhar anxiously replied, "Krishna always resides within your heart." As soon as the Lord heard the words, "Krishna is in your heart," he began to scratch at his chest with his fingernails. Gadadhar quickly caught the Lord's hands and pacified him with various words of solace. Gadadhar said, "Be patient. Krishna will come now," as Mother Sachi looked on. Mother Sachi became very pleased with Gadadhar and thought, "I haven't seen such an intelligent boy before. Out of fear, I cannot stand before him, yet how nicely this boy has consoled him." Mother Sachi said, "My dear boy, always remain with him. Do not leave him and go anywhere else." On seeing the Lord's wonderful ecstatic love, Mother Sachi no longer considered him her son. She thought, this personality is not an ordinary human being. Can tears flow like that from the eyes of an ordinary human being? I do not know what great personality has appeared in my family. Frightened in this way, Mother Sachi did not come before the Lord. In the evening, all the devotees gradually assembled at the Lord's house. At that time, Sri Mukunda began to recite various verses glorifying devotional service. The most fortunate Mukunda had such a divine voice that as soon as the crest jewel of Brahmanas heard him, he became absorbed in trance. The Lord began to loudly cry out, Hari Bol. He then fell on the ground in various directions, and no one could hold him. All transformations of ecstatic love, like fear, laughter, shivering, perspiring, hair standing on end, and thundering voice, simultaneously manifested in his body. On seeing this unique manifestation, the devotees sang in great joy. The loving sentiments of the Lord could not be checked. The entire night passed like a moment. In the morning, the Lord seemed to regain some external consciousness. In this way, the son of Sachi regularly performed kirtan in his house throughout the day and night. Thus, the Supreme Lord inaugurated the performance of kirtan. As a result, all the devotees' distress was mitigated. As Sri Satchidananda loudly cried out, Hari Bol, the sleep of the atheist was repeatedly broken. When the happiness of their sleep was broken, the atheists became angry and blasphemed according to their desires for their own ruination. Someone said, What madness has come upon them? Someone else said, We are unable to sleep at night. Someone said, The Lord will become angry because of this loud noise, and that will result in their destruction. Another said, Rather than cultivating knowledge, they are acting most arrogantly. Someone said, Who knows what kind of kirtan they are doing? That foolish Brahmana Srivasa is behind all this. In order to fill their bellies by begging, these four brothers loudly call out the name of Krishna as if they were afflicted by insanity, as the four brothers named Srivasa and his other brothers. Can they not achieve piety by chanting their minds? Does chanting loudly bestow piety? Someone else said, O brothers, we are doomed. Because of Srivasa, the entire country will be ruined. This morning I heard that on the king's order, 2 boats are on their way here. The king has heard about the loud kirtan in Nadia, therefore he has ordered that they be arrested and brought before him. Now Srivasa Pandit will slip off in some direction or other, leaving us to face certain ruin. I frankly told you before that we should throw Shiva's house into the Ganges. You took it as a joke and did not pay any attention, but now see how we will be destroyed. Someone else said, What does this have to do with us? We will bind Srivasa and turn him over to whoever demands him. From town to town the news was spread. The king's men are coming to arrest the Vaishnavas. Wow. When the Vaishnavas heard this news, they all subdued their fears by remembering Govinda. Whatever Krishna Chandra ordains must take place. Why should one fear wicked persons when the Lord is there? Srivasa Pandit was most liberal. He had firm faith in whatever he heard. Considering that the Yavanas were ruling the kingdom, he became fearful, and Gaurachandra knew the heart of his devotee. The devotees did not know that the Lord had personally appeared, therefore the son of Sachi began to reveal himself. Mahaprabhu Vishwambar, who was incomparable throughout the 3 worlds and more attractive than Cupid, fearlessly wandered about Navadvip. Fragrant sandalwood pulp was smeared all over his body. His lotus eyes and crimson lips were enchanting. His curling hair adorned his face, which resembled the full moon. A Brahman thread enhanced the beauty of his shoulders and his exquisite form. He was dressed in fine cloth, and his lips were tinged with the color of betel. He happily proceeded towards the bank of the Ganges. On seeing him, all the pious persons became happy, and all the atheists became morose. In spite of hearing the rumors, he is not at all frightened. He wanders about town like a prince. Someone else said, "Oh, brother, I've understood. Wait a while and you will see. This is all a cover for his escape." Vishwambar fearlessly looked around and saw before him the beautiful flowing Ganges and its charming banks. He saw nearby a herd of grazing cows who were lowing as they came. Lowing is an anopatomic sound, which means the word sounds like what it means and sounds like what it sounds like. Okay. Onomatopoetic. As lowing as they came to the bank of the river to drink water. Some of the cows raised their tails and ran about. Some of them fought with each other, some laid down, and some drank water. On seeing this, the Lord repeatedly thundered, I am he, I am he. That is, I am Krishna. In that mood, the Lord rushed to Srivasa's house, where he loudly exclaimed, Oh Srivas, what are you doing? The Lord kicked again and again on the door of the room in which Srivas was worshipping Nrsimhadev. Who are you worshipping? Who are you meditating on? Look, he whom you are worshipping is standing before you. Srivas Pandit saw a blazing fire and his meditation was broken. He opened his eyes and looked around him. He saw Vishwambar sitting like a hero and holding conch, disc, club, and lotus in his 4 hands. Oh my God. The Lord repeatedly roared like an intoxicated lion as he slapped the left side of his stomach. On seeing him, Srivas Pandit began to tremble and became completely speechless. The Lord said, Oh Srinivas. Oh, Srinivas. Yeah, I guess there's another name for Srivas. All these days you did not know about my appearance? By your loud chanting and nadas roaring, that's Advaita Acharya, I left Vaikuntha and came here with my associates. You are living unconcerned without recognizing me, and Nada has avoided me by going to Shantipur. I will deliver the saintly persons and destroy the miscreants. Do not worry, offer prayers to me. Srivas cried out of love on seeing the Lord, and the fear in his heart was dispelled by the Lord's assurance. Srivas's entire body became filled with ecstasy, and he stood up with folded hands and began offering prayers to the Lord. Srivas Pandit was a natural scholar and a Bhagavat, that means topmost devotee. Having been ordered by the Lord, he offered heartfelt prayers. He first recited a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that was spoken by Lord Brahma after his bewilderment, after Shri Krishna smashed the pride of Brahma, who stole the calves of Braj. Brahma came before Krishna and offered prayers as follows. I offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of Vishwambar, whose bodily complexion is the color of a newly formed cloud, and who is dressed in yellow garments. I offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of Shachi's son, whose head is decorated with strands of fresh gunja and a peacock feather. I offer my respectful obeisances at the feet of Gangadas Pandit's student, who wears a forest flower garland and holds yogurt rice in his hand. I offer my respectful obeisances at the feet of Jagannath Mishra's son, whose attractive form defeats the beauty of millions of moons. I offer my obeisances unto you who are adorned with horn, stick, and flute. You are that person who is addressed by the 4 Vedas as the son of Maharaj Nanda. I offer my obeisances unto you. Srivas Pandit offered the Lord prayers similar to those offered by Brahma. Whatever he spoke came to his lips spontaneously. You are Vishnu, you are Krishna, you are the Lord of sacrifice. The holy waters of the Ganges emanate from your lotus feet. You are the life and soul of Janaki, and you are Nrsimhadev. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and others are all servants of your lotus feet. You are the knower of Vedanta, and you are Narayani. It was you who deceived Bali as Vamana. You are Hayagriva, and you are the life and soul of the entire universe. You are the moonlight, Lord of Nilachal, and the cause of all causes. You bewilder even that Lord who serves as your companion, friend, and brother. So what to speak of others? Of course, that's in reference to Balaram. You have thrown me into the illusion of household life. I have simply wasted my life without understanding you. You have deceived me through various illusions. You have even carried my flower basket and doting. O Lord of my life, please listen. That does not make me fearful, for you have now appeared before my eyes. Today all my miseries are vanquished. Today is the most auspicious day for me. Today my life and activities have become successful. Today all my good fortune has awakened for me. Today my forefathers have been delivered. Today my home is truly blessed. There is no limit to the good fortune of my eyes, for I am seeing he whose lotus feet are served by Brahma, the goddess of fortune. While speaking in this way, Srivasa Pandit became overwhelmed with ecstasy, raised his arms, cried, and sighed deeply. The most fortunate Srinivasa again, rolled on the ground after seeing that most wonderful manifestation of Sri Gaurachandra. What wonderful happiness was felt in the body of Srivasa, that best of the Brahmanas merged in the ocean of bliss. The Lord smiled after hearing the prayers of Srivasa. Being compassionate to Srivasa, the Lord spoke to him. Bring your wife, children, other members of your household, and let them see my form. In the company of your wife, worship my lotus feet and ask for any benediction you desire. Being ordered by the Lord, Srivasa Pandit immediately brought all of his family members. He offered at the feet of the Lord whatever flowers were there for the worship of Vishnu. In the company of his wife, the Brahmana cried as he worshipped the lotus feet of the Lord with sandalwood paste, flowers, incense, and lamps. Srivasa Pandit led his brother's wives, servants, and maidservants in humbly falling at the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord Vishwambara is the well-wisher of Srinivasa, so he placed his lotus feet on the heads of everyone there. Unseen by all, the Lord touched everyone's head with his lotus feet. He smiled and said, "May your minds be fixed on me." Lord Vishwambara roared loudly and spoke to Srinivasa as follows. "O Srinivasa, are you afraid of something? Is there some rumor that the king's boat is coming to arrest you? By my own supreme will, I am the director of all living entities in the innumerable universes. The king will have you arrested only if I make him do so. If this were not the case, if he independently ordered your arrest, then this is what I will do. I will be the first to board the boat and present myself before the king. Will the king remain sitting on his throne after seeing me? I will bewilder him and drag him down. If this does not happen, and he holds me for questioning, then this is what I will tell him. Listen, O king, bring all your mullahs and qazis to ascertain the truth. O king, bring all the elephants, horses, animals, and birds that you have. Instruct your qazis to recite your scriptures and make those creatures cry. If they are unable to do this, then I will manifest myself to the king. You dare to stop Sankirtan and the advice of these fellows? Everyone is now seeing what power they actually have. Now, behold my power with your eyes. After saying this, I will bring an intoxicated elephant before him. I will gather the elephants, horses, deer, and birds, and induce them to chant the name of Krishna and cry. I will induce everyone to chant the name of Krishna and cry, including the king and his subjects. Do not maintain the slightest doubt. I will show you now before your eyes. The Lord then looked at Srivasa's niece, a small girl named Narayani, standing before him. And Narayani, of course, is the mother of Advaita Acharya, would become later on the mother of Advaita Acharya. Even today, Narayani is known among the Vaishnavas as the recipient of the Lord's remnants. Shri Gauranga, the super soul of all living entities, ordered her, Narayani, chant the name of Krishna and cry. That 4-year-old child immediately acted like she was mad. She cried, chanted, "O Krishna," and forgot herself. Tears flowed from her eyes to the ground, making the area around her wet. Lord Vishwambara smiled and said, "Now have your fears been dispelled." So, we're going to end now since I have to end early and get ready for a program we have this evening, and hopefully we're going to be able to broadcast the program. And, all right, so we won't have time for questions. So I guess that's it. So thank you very much. And tomorrow night we have a Sunday program. It's Sunday here, Monday for some of you. And that program is going to be at our temple here in Orlando. So you're welcome. That's probably going to be roughly at the same time as this class. That is the plan. So thank you very much. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Haribol.